Our services that we offer for all the kids, all the programs, any age, is free. There is no cost to any of our programming.
Wow.
Yeah, so and we're talking field trips, we're talking summer camp, we're talking school round after school programming. Everything is taken care of. We just recently took a group of kids to Calaveras State Park up in Arnold, California. We chartered a bus, we got them gear, snow gear, we fitted them.
Most of them had not seen snow, had
Most
they?
of them had not seen snow or ever been away from the family for an entire day like that, 12
Wow.
hours. And so we make sure that we do fully take care of the entire child, not just our program work, but we want to make sure that we hold them in that space.
I want to ask you something. Parents out there,
Yeah.
I want to say something to parents. There is a lot of latchkey kids out there right now. There is a lot of single parents. There is a lot of single mothers. And
Yeah.
here we get back with women again. Women are the bulwarks of our society.
Absolutely.
You know, and they're the ones who actually holding our dumb butts up, you know. And I just want to say to you, how do you communicate with women that, you know, you're going to have their kids and you're going to handle them good?
Yeah, you know, we are an organization for boys and young men of color, and we're all men. We're all men of color doing this work.
Right.
So if you have 3 adult men saying, we're taking your kids on an overnight camping trip, it's not very comforting to some mothers.
Right.
And a lot of our families are single parent homes with the mother at home. So we try to really establish the relationship with the parent immediately once the programming starts.
But the backdrop of that is a lot of these kids are on the street all the time, anytime, anyway.
You do have a lot of kids who are out a lot.
Especially with single parents.
Well, but you also have kids whose parents don't let them out.
Right.
Who say, I'm going to go to work, so stay home for the next 6 hours.
Right.
Or stay home for the entire weekend.
Right.
Or they're being taken care of by somebody else.
Right.
So
Then here you are.
and here we are, offering these services at no cost. But we want to make sure that we do establish the relationship. The relationship is so important. It is relationship before task.
Right.
Before someone hands over their kid and says, you know, you've got them, and we trust in you. We want to make sure they feel confident with who we are. So we are absolutely always accessible to the parents, the mothers, the fathers. And we encourage the fathers to be part of our field trips, to be part of our events, so that we can continue to show how men get involved in community, how men get involved with their kids, how it's all okay. Absolutely.
You want to put out there again how to donate. Everybody out there, send this man a check today.
Absolutely. You can,
Yes, send him some money today.
You can go onto our website at botr.org and go onto our donate page, or you can send us a check made out to Brothers on the Rise to 1470 Fruitvale Avenue, Oakland, California, 94601. To their power and understand, wow, I am able to make an influence, a positive impact on youth by being a positive role model, by being what they never had growing up.
Right.
So then so the second year, we offer them an externship with our community partners, clinics, libraries, parks and rec centers, so they can begin to experience how to get a career in this, or how to come back and volunteer once they're done with their schooling and are trying to figure out what they want to do next. Because we want these boys to come back to their community. I think John came back. John has come back. He got his education, he came back, and he realized, I want to be doing this work.
I think that's a good thing, because the first thing kids, they see you, for example, not you the person,
Yeah.
but they see how you're dressed.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like that, they say. you know, but you have to assimilate into society some kind of way.
Right.
You can't be that maverick, with all the fake-ade, the superficial long hair, and
Yeah.
the pants down on your butt, and your beliefs and your priorities in Michael Jordan and Michael Kors and
Right.
stuff like this.
Right.
You guys are very clean cut. That's something that society looks at today. They want to emulate you, but at the same time, they want to look at what their cohorts are doing, their siblings are doing.
Yeah.
Today, our society is more of followers than leaders. So how in the hell did you make up your mind to do this? I'm gonna get you. I know he pulled you in here,
Yeah.
but I mean, you are exactly what's needed to be looked at, because the both of you came from But you're educated, you're out there, you're getting older now. That's the thing.
My birthday's in about 3 weeks. Yes,
you
yes,
see,
I
you're
am.
getting older.
Sooner than
You're
I
getting
think.
to be an old man to a lot of these kids. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But you're what, is personified right here in our society, in our community. So how do you feel about that? That you are a positive example and a positive role model. And you flip from the other side of the coin to another side of the coin.
I feel that I've always been different, and I've always wanted to just be myself. I had to create this identity for myself, this positive male identity that, nothing's wrong with me. This happened to me for a reason. There's no reason to be mad about it anymore. I can't control that. I have to accept that. Now I gotta move forward. Because if I stay stuck on something that's not gonna let me keep moving, that's where I'm gonna stay, right? It's like if you hold this bottle, it doesn't matter how heavy it is. What matters is how long you hold it. That's like when you hold a grudge. You can hold it for a day, and what happens? You start feeling numb.
Yeah.
You hold it for
Good
more than a
example.
day. Feels like your arm's not even there. Once you let it go, you can breathe again. You can move again. So that's how you keep moving.
Very intelligent answer.
Do you see
Damn,
why?
man, you got me.
You see why he's with us?
Yeah, I mean, that was perfect. And you're looking at the fact that that's one of the things about the average person in ghetto and barrio America, the inner city. They all think there's something wrong with them. I have seen very few people, they get the long hair, they get all this superficial stuff. Mom's Mabley, Jackie Mom's Mabley, you guys are a little bit too young to remember her, but she said, be yourself before you be by yourself.
Wow.
And Frank Sinatra, his whole thing, I've been up, down, all around. I've been down, I'm up, I'm getting up, back up again, however that goes.
Yeah.
But that's life. And you're a living element of young people. There is a lot of people out there like that are looking for their karma and their road in life and their niche, so to speak.
Yeah.
You're saying, we were talking about Ramadan.
Yeah.
Whatever, in our society, we always put people in boxes,
Right.
the man boxes, you call it.
Yeah.
We sequester them in there, and then we close it up and they can't breathe.
Right.
That's how we live today.
Right.
And you look at all these kids. I'm gonna tell you what happened last week. One of them came to me and he says, "You know what? You talk a whole lot of stuff." I said, "Okay." And I'm looking at him, and this is right there, 31st and West.
Okay.
Where I used to live.
Yeah.
And I was visiting somebody. He said, "I know who you are. You talk a whole lot," but he didn't say stuff. He said the other caca word. Okay.
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay." He said, "I went looking for a job, and they turned me down." I looked at him. I said, "Well, how did you look when you went?" He said, "I walked in there to represent me." I said, "If you represent you in the way you look, and you cannot assimilate into society," he says, "what does that word mean?" I said, "You cannot join or move into society the way society is." I said, "First of all, get a haircut, comb your hair." Because he had they were the little pickaninnies all over the place,
Yeah.
I said, "Cut your hair, comb it, and go someplace and buy yourself a suit." And he looked at me, he said, "But that's not my image." I said, "It's not about image, it's about your pocket." So yesterday, he called me up. He said, "I got a job." And I says, "Okay, text me what you look like." I didn't even know him.
Yeah.
His mother, he talked to his mother, and the mother said the same thing that I said. You have to look like you want to go someplace in life. You can't look like you just want to be an inner city USA again, And this thing with assimilation, this thing with psychology, and we keep bringing that word up, it breeds aggressiveness when you're there and you can't go. And it breeds that water in the bottle on your arm, and it hurts, not just physically, but it hurts your heart also when you cannot excel in life. Am I right?
Absolutely. And I hear what you're saying, and there's 2 points that pop up to me. Yeah, I think it is important for us to help our youth, support our youth to understanding what their authentic self is. It might not be looking like everyone in your neighborhood. It might
Right.
not be having to dress like everyone dresses in your neighborhood. But because of the pressures, the community, society pressures, they begin on that path.
That's a big word.
Absolutely.
That's a dangerous word.
And it comes on so many levels.
Right.
It comes on so many culturally,
Right.
because of gender, race, for some people religion. And so if we create the safe space for our kids to live their true authentic lives, they will begin to identify how they want to show up in the world and look at their appearance. And that sometimes is not the same as everybody else, but they're following a norm. And the second point was, we have high standards in our community. We have very high standards for our boys to show up a certain way. We want to help them understand.
But America does not live by standards.
Well,
It lives a maverick element of life, psychologically.
Sure, absolutely.
Am I right?
Yes, you're right, and I think what the point I'm making is, I was in banking for 11 years. I was in corporate America for 11 years.
Oh my God. You're one of those. You come from humble beginnings and then you bust the glass ceiling out.
Somewhat, yes. But for those 11 years, I was never myself. I was in a suit and tie every day for 11 years. I was the most miserable, burnt out individual version of myself I had ever been. And I never had the opportunity to discover how I wanted to show up in the world, how I wanted to dress, because I was uniformed. And the bar was so high for me because I was up against a lot of white corporate men that I felt I had to stand up with. I had to stand up to. And once I left corporate America, I began to identify my true self. And then, sure, I dress this way today because I'm here seeing you.
Right.
But there are days where I'll go to the program and I'll be wearing jeans and a sports sweater or a sports cap. I show up the way I feel in the mornings because I have that now. I have that power within myself to say,
But you built that power and you earned that power.
I understand it. I got myself to a certain place of
Right.
privilege
Right.
in society.
But it's like anything else in life. What you've done, you sacrifice a little bit of yourself to have a lot.
Yes, and I wouldn't want someone else to go down that path. It was very unhealthy. I was able to in a sense, break away to get to this place. But I see people who are still, I believe in myself, in my true self. And I'm mindful of how I navigate through the world, around everything that's going on. I choose not to follow anything that may be organized or structured, because I want to learn as much as I can about everything in the world. I want to learn about all religions. And I know that I will take whatever I feel works for me and who I am today, the version I am today, and move with it forward. But I don't feel like I take anything on as a whole. Just pieces that I feel are most comfortable and I feel I can sustain the way I live.
You talk about spirituality. I was in Chichen Itza about 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago, something like that. It's been a while. Brain gets kind of focused, off key. But we was leaving late. And they were in there, they said, we don't like to stay till after dark. Mm-hmm. We try to get everybody out of there before dark because things happen.
Sure.
So it was getting dark, and I was the last of the 5 people in the back of the group. We were just looking around and taking pictures. And I felt like there was somebody behind me. Mm-hmm. And I turned around and I looked, and I'm looking, and then I said, okay, that was just. Then like out of the corner of your eye, you can see like a shadow, disappear. And and I'm sitting there going, wow. So it turned dark, we was in the bus. And you can actually hear the wind blowing through it, and it was like people screaming.
Wow.
Chichen Itza is a very sacred place.
Absolutely. My experience there when I went, also about 10 years ago, I felt the energy. It was so powerful. And I got a chance to swim in some of the cenotes, the whales that are down below.
Right.
Well, the night that I got back from that trip, I was in the hotel room, and I just remember breaking out in a sweat the entire night. Almost like I had a fever. And my entire body sweated and sweated. The next morning I woke up feeling fine.
Right.
But I know there was something that happened in that place because of the energy, because of my energy, because of my openness, because of the way I was open to receive whatever was flowing through there.
I'm gonna blow you away.
Go for
This is truth. I'm gonna tell you. I had a hard time in Vietnam. I was on search and rescue. That is not a good place to be.
Yeah.
Whatever you have to do in the day, living or dead, you have to retrieve it. Okay, that was that whole thing. 40 months I survived there.
Wow.
And while I was gone the second time, my kids were little. And I got back, and my little one, he's 4 by then, turning 5. He say, "Oh, boy, Dad, this really pretty woman comes and sees us at night, and she talks to us, and she tells us things, and she tells us everything is going to be all right." I asked my wife, I said, "Who are you letting in the house?" She says, "I'm not letting nobody in the house." And I said, "Well, these guys are talking about some woman. What's going on here?" And she says, "They've been talking about that for the last 5 or 6 months." So I had a picture of my mom on the mantle.
Yeah.
So the oldest one said, "That's her right there. She's the one that comes at night and tells us it's going to be okay." She's real pretty. You know, she's got a big old smile and big eyes. And I'm going, "Oh my God, I like to die." Scared the hell out of me. But you know what? We have no concept of the afterlife or life.
Right.
We don't teach people about anything spiritual.
Right.
And we kind of cut ourselves off.
Right.
You know, and the fact of the matter is, that's a communication thing that we have lost. We've lost so much in this country from what we started out with. It really ticked me off. It pissed me off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell them to say that.
Yeah.
That it looks like the sanctuary program is gonna lose a lot of money. And you know what? When I go into Fruitvale and I'm there in that area sometime, or I go out to San Pablo, I listen to the fear.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Charles, the day after the November elections, our youth didn't go to school. They didn't come to programming. They stayed home. Out of that fear, what's going to happen? What's happening to my
We
parents?
should not have to live in fear in this country.
Oh, absolutely not. That's not what we're built on.
You know, and I said something the other day that really ticked somebody off. I said, we've come here, or people have come here, we'll just leave it at that, and they've taken everything from everybody who was here before them. You know, this was all part of Mexico.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
all the way from Baja Peninsula all the way up to there, about where the Arizona border is. And people say, "Well, why do you think like that?" I said, "Because it's truth. You know, we have just come here and we've been desecrated, and we've actually been split politically. We've been split racially. You know, religiously we've been split. Everything is so fractured right now.
Yeah.
So when you look at dealing with kids like you guys are dealing with kids, how do you get them to that point where they're actually thinking, I can be myself,
It's-
be by myself?
It's by creating a safe space. Once they walk into one of our programs, they know that they're not going to be ridiculed. They're not going to be teased. They're not going to be poked at and laughed at for how they're showing up. We're allowing them to, not allowing them, but we're creating the space for them. And that's the important part.
It's about trust, am I right?
About trust, absolutely. It's the brotherhood,
The brotherhood.
right?
Yeah. Really the brotherhood.
The brotherhood. Like, let's create a space where your peers, the people in this room, understand who you are, your cultural background, what makes you different, and what makes them different, their cultural background, and how we all stand together united. So that they come alone, they come individually, but they leave our program as a group of individuals who now have the same frame of thinking. And hopefully if they ever cross paths again down the road, they'll have that familiarity with each other and be able to be in that space with each other.
But you know, when you come from inner city America, and the man box keep coming back to my mind.
Yeah. And Charles, I must say, as a man yourself, you saw something in her, you invested in her, and you helped her reach her full potential. However you felt you did that, or the amount of time you invested in it, you did it. And as men, it is our job and responsibility to be allies, better allies to our women. And we hope to really instill that in our boys.
You want me to tell you something about that man thing? The man thing is elusive now because material value in the man world is the big thing now.
Yeah.
Especially in inner city America.
Mm-hmm.
A red car, the big house. I'm getting ready to buy another big house. But you know, a big house with a white picket fence,
Yeah.
all these illusions that we think, and the image that we paint of ourselves and the image that society paints of us
Yeah.
is totally, it's not in line with who we are and what we are.
Right.
You know, you talk about corporate America, one day corporate America is going to disintegrate.
Oh yeah.
Am I right?
Absolutely.
You know, and people said can't happen. Look at 1924 to 1934, and in the middle of that was the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
We're focused, we're in that footprint again,
Yeah.
where the oligarch society and the billionaires and millionaires are running the government, and they blew it big time. And it's women that step in, even during the Second World War. You had pilots, you had welders, you had steam fitters, you had every damn thing that a man can do. So a woman today is just as viable as a man. The thing that I hate, you know, and I'm not trying to change the subject on you, but building people, we don't pay them enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we live that life, and man society has to get off of that somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you know, this past Saturday, Oakland had the Women's March.
Yeah.
And I did the running program with some of our high schoolers. And afterwards, I asked them if they wanted to go be part of the march. They willingly said yes. But as soon as we got to the march, all the questions of why are we doing this? Why is this happening?
Right.
So it created a great opportunity for me to share with them how they can show up in these movements. But they need to find for themselves what it means for them first.
Find their heart.
Right.
That's a big thing in inner city. Am I right about that, both of you?
Right.
Finding your heart, finding your niche, finding where you're comfortable. And it does not mean being with somebody to run you over the cliff like a damn lemming,
Right.
you know, along with the rest of them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I really want to make sure that our boys are becoming more mindful of. How do we become a better relationship with the women in our communities, with your women
That's
organizations?
a big thing, you know.
Absolutely, because
that's a big thing.
Charles, there's so many layers to men. I mean, right now I'm seeing billboards in East.
Layers. We're full of bullshit. Period.
I'm seeing all these billboards that just popped up in East Oakland, where they're saying men can prevent sex trade, and that's huge. If we can capture men before they get to that place, help them understand, you don't treat other people like this. You don't do this to other people. You treat other people with compassion and from the heart.
And with passion of life.
And with passion of life.
Yeah.
We begin to eliminate that.
And this is what you're conveying to these young kids.
Absolutely.
There's so many layers. Like I said, I agree with you. But we're full of bullshit. That's just point blank.
Right.
You know, we're egotists. That egotism destroys everything. And if you can get that before they're 8 years old, because that's about the formulation years, right?
Yeah.
Between 6 and 8.
8 to 11 in
Right.
elementary school, and then 12 to 14 in middle school.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I have my personal views, my own perspective,
Mhm.
which I've gotten throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
In no way does that heavily influence this program. We have a very, very solid curriculum.
Well, the thing about it is, I'm going to say something about you. You're a real humanitarian. However you want to put it, I'm going to put it like that. How about that, And to care for people, it lets me see, when I help everybody through here, it gives me the fact that there is hope out there.
Mm-hmm.
Brothers on the rise, 1470 Fruitvale Avenue, and in Oakland, right here.
In
People
Oakland.
talk about, people beat the hell out of Oakland.
We are
But they got some good stuff here.
absolutely, and we are absolutely accessible to our community. Come on in, just come into our building, ask for Brothers on the Rise. You can talk to any staffer there, and if I also, as the executive director, I want to make sure that we might not, if we're not the last stop that you need to receive a service, we'll make sure we'll get you to the last stop.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. People need to get off their duffs. I like to say that. And send you some money.
We will take all and any
They need
amounts
to
of
send
money.
you some money. All you people out there, a guy told me the other day he smokes 4 packs of cigarettes a day. And every 6 minutes he's got a new cigarette almost.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of money.
A lot of money. A lot of money.
That's $40 a day.
Making a donation to our organization really helps us
Right.
create the stage, the platform for our boys to stand up on and understand that they are leaders in this community. They are the ones who are going to create change for us tomorrow. So your donation goes towards that. So I ask you to not just open your wallets, but open your hearts and understand the impact that you are making for these young kids' lives.
Well, you know, I saw something someplace I can't remember said, but it goes into the same caption of this type of stuff is, the child you may save may be your own, or something like that, by donating.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when you donate to things that grow, you know, you never know how it's going to come back and affect you.
Right.
You know,
We're a community-based nonprofit. We offer direct services. We also do systems change work. So we're partnering with service providers. We're partnering with some school districts. We're partnering with some traditional age youth organizations to teach them this model, to teach them our curriculum, to certify them and say, you can now actually go and have a better understanding of what these kids are coming with. We don't want to see them suspended. We don't want to see them in trouble. So our curriculum really helps kind of identify what they're coming with.
well, you know, I was looking at one thing here not too long ago. We're talking about peace and karma and you know, and all that kind of stuff and spirituality. I saw an article where they were teaching the kids meditation
Uh-huh.
instead of discipline.
Absolutely. I think I might have seen the same article.
And it changed everybody. Even the parents were blown away. Oh my God, my daughter said, "Thank you, ma'am."
Yeah.
And she walked in, she said, "Well, where'd you learn that at?" You know? And the daughter was trying to tell the mother, you know, but they meditate and they, you know, they get into themselves, you know. And whoever is doing this, you know, is, in my book, a goal person, you know,
Yeah.
that goal level.
Yeah.
And you guys are right there behind them. You guys are right there on top, right there with them. Because you know what? I'm looking at this card, said, strengthening systems.
Yeah.
You know, this little card says a lot. You know, brothers on the rise mean brother, the brotherhood,
Yeah.
on a positive note.
We're redefining that for ourselves. Redefining how we want to show up in the world. Because it's a heavyweight brotherhood, manhood, manning up.
It's hard,
Yeah.
manning up.
Oh yeah.
You know what manning up means in some circles?
Sure.
Responsibility.
Absolutely. Taking
know-
charge, taking responsibility.
That's right.
And you know
Wh-
what?
Whether you ask for it or not, it's your responsibility.
And that's actually a part of part of our curriculum. Every day, every session, at the end, as part of our closing rituals, we talk about what we learned that day, and the next part is manning up for something they know they could have done better that day that they'll do next time. But I tell them, you know what? It's one thing to say sorry. It's one thing to apologize about what you did today that you could do better.
We
The other
call
thing is
women
actually-
everything.
Absolutely.
They don't call them women in the end.
No, but I want them to understand that that's within their power.
Yeah.
That's a certain level of change they have control
But that's
over.
respect.
Absolutely.
First level of respect.
Absolutely, yeah. So a lot of those conversations were coming up.
Yeah.
And they were very powerful because I saw them begin to think of it differently.
Right.
And now they know when they're with me, I'm going to pick up on those things.
Right.
And say, hey, the other day we talked about this. How are you going to continue this change? How are you going to make it sustainable for you to continue to use these words?
Well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. All of you so-called men out there with children that you don't see, that you're not supporting, that you have failed in that element, I need you to get a hold of these guys here and talk to them, because maybe they can help you get your butt back into where you're supposed to be. Maybe they can help you and give you some ideas, because these guys have got it pretty well laid out. You know, I want you to get a hold of Brothers of the Rise. If you're a scofflaw and you're out there not supporting your kids and you don't see them, it's imperative, and you know what, that you get your tail back in that house. Talk to that woman. Tell her that you're coming to do some good, and actually do some good. Brothers on the Rise is raising your kids, and they're giving your kids some good stuff. You need to learn.
Be able to offer whatever I can to our community. And again, if it's not us who has the service available, we'll get you to the right place where you can find it.
Help you with your family problems. That's what that did. You know what?
We do family services.
Boys are very difficult to deal with. I go to the things with girls, and they just all so bubbly and happy. You know, they're all down there doing things, and boys are standing off with their feet on the side of the building, or in little groups.
Yeah.
We need to alleviate that. Am I right?
Yeah, we've been talking about that this whole show, right?
Yeah, this whole show is that.
What we're growing up into.
Be yourself before you be right by yourself.
Absolutely.
And one of the other things is you want to give out your numbers again. We're going to do this again.
Absolutely.
We're going to have a closing argument from John here, and then we're going to shut it down
Absolutely.
a little bit here. Gina will give us the signal.
We can be reached at area code 510-559-1590. We have staffers available, which you can find on our website. I'm at extension 101. Please feel free to reach out to me. You can also email us at info@brothersontherise.org. We are available Monday through Friday between the office hours of 9 to 5 a.m. Our after-school programming goes on a little bit after 5, depending on the different site that we're at. We're at 9 different sites throughout Oakland. We're at parks and rec centers, and we're at school sites. The school sites will usually filter their youth into our program, but the parks and rec centers are open to the community for you to come in and bring your kid into our program. And again, all free services, no cost to anybody to be part of our program. One of the great things about our programming is that we do have a Trail Brothers program, which gets the kids out into nature. We take them to the redwoods. We do overnight camping trips that we encourage positive male role models to participate in with us. So we can have uncles, we can have fathers, we can have stepfathers come in and participate in this programming with us. We took the high schoolers on a sailboating trip this last summer with Pegasus Sailboating out of Berkeley. We went to the snow just a couple weeks ago, Calaveras Big Tree State Park. So our outdoor program is also part of this programming, which is free to our youth, and you should see how happy they are to be outdoors and to learn, because we want to make sure they're learning about nature and how to sustain nature, how to be a part of growing your own products, how to take care of the trees in your community, how to just understand the systems that we live in.
And again, if you're a man-child out there, and I say a man-child because they say, how's that go? I don't want to get it right. Once a man, twice a child, or something like that. Twice a child, once a man, or something like that.
Okay.
If you need help getting back into your family, if you need some talking, and you need somebody to talk to, and you need to learn to get next to your kids. These guys, Brothers on the Rise, they're community service orientated too. And if you've been out there on the corner, selling your little stuff, and driving your hoopty with the 22s on it, that won't pass smog. I mean, get out there and do it to it and get back close to your family, because coming up in the way this world is being structured right now politically, we're going to have a hard time as minorities. Am I right, guys?
Absolutely. I mean, it's already been tough times, and it's going to continue.
It's going to continue.
Absolutely.
And to everybody who was out there talking to me about the immigration problem out there, not getting political with it, but hold on. Hold on and vote. If you can vote, but hold on, because we're going to see how this thing is going to come. You guys are really doing it to it. And I want to say again, if you're a man-child out there, and I call you a man-child, and you want to get back with your family and get close, and you need somebody to give you some pointers, Brothers on the Rise, and they're there.
Yeah. Go on to Facebook. We're on Facebook. Like our page. Go onto our website.
You're on all the social media.
We're on Twitter.
Yeah.
Look at join our newsletter. We're doing a runathon coming up.
Right.
We're going to be running in the Oakland Running Festival, either a 5K or a half marathon, and it's going to be a fundraiser for us. So if you want to wait to make a donation, take a look at that. It'll be coming soon. Sponsor our youth in running.